It was cold out. It was so cold that the words we spoke to each other at the top of that hill we were standing on, getting ready to sleigh ride down that hill, words came out of our mouths frozen. And in order to hear each other speak, well, we would have to take those words, put them in a frying pan, heat them up, just so we could hear each other. Well, slight exaggeration, right? A little hyperbole. But it was damn cold that day. And I'd say it was below 10 degrees. And there was snow blowing around. The wind was fierce and it was biting and it was cutting right through my clothes. And it chilled me to the bone. But you know what? It really didn't matter. I was at the crest of a hill with my friends. We all had our sleds and we were all talking smack. You know, the kind of smack your parents might call peacocking, strutting your feathers and strutting your stuff, even if you sucked at what you were doing. Well, I was chomping at the bit that morning to jump on this sled that I had hauled up the hill with me, and I just wanted to crush my opponents. My friends. That was supposed to be my friends, right? And they were my friends. But that day, I was going to pulverize them, and I was sure that they wanted to pulverize me. Mutual destruction. If you've been in this business for even a short time, you know what it feels like to be crushed. But I wonder, are you being crushed right now? Perhaps you're the one boasting at the top of the hill as you're ready to crush your opponent. Did you know that you can reduce your caseload without getting bloodied in the snowbank? Even if it feels like you're stuck at the top of the hill and unwilling to make the jump on your sled, I've got you covered. It can be so exhausting, not just to manage a caseload, but also dealing with those strutting around you like peacocks, the people that you work with. In the first episode of Smart to Mediate, I shared the importance of managing your time through the power of categorizing your cases. If you want to take a deep dive into slipped, how to characterize your cases, you can go back to episode 1 after you finish this episode. I will put the link in the show notes, or you can just scroll down in your podcast app to episode. I shared the power of managing your cases by using an acronym, and that word is slipped, a word very near and dear to all of us in the claims industry. And it's spelled SLIPD. It stands for serious or light injury cases with plaintiff or defendant liability. Slipped will help you categorize every case that you have quickly and efficiently. Even a huge caseload of 200 cases, I maintain you can make the determination which one of those cases can resolve quickly. And I'm going to submit to you that it's probably in the high 80 percentile that can be resolved quickly and efficiently. Remember that about 98% of your cases are going to settle prior to trial. And out of those 98%, 95% of those cases can be settled prior to picking a jury. And out of those cases, a huge percentage can be settled prior to even going into litigation. That is where you should be putting your effort. And how do you do that? Well, by using mediation and seeing mediation as the tool, as the ultimate goal of your case, rather than litigation and trial. And for you to do that, put your cases on the front burner the minute they come into you, the minute they're assigned to you. You put it on the front burner and you make that categorization right away. By the time you do that, you will be able to funnel your cases into a spout that spits out your cases one at a time and tells you this case is ready for settlement. I don't think anyone else is talking about this. You're getting something here that's different, something that's going to help you modernize your caseload, utilize technology, utilize mediation to make your life better, your work life and your living life. And this should be something that you're willing to look at with a critical eye now and say, will this work for me? The question should be, why is nobody else talking about this? And that's the part that always fascinates me. Is it because everybody that you're working with is throwing spitballs over the cubicle walls, telling lawyer jokes or judge jokes, and then only arguing with you about where they're going to order out from lunchtime. You are not going to be the person throwing spitballs over the wall. No, you are going to be like an Iditarod racer. You are going to take your sled, get it ready to face the call of the wild, and fly down the mountain in the lead before anybody, as if you were traveling in a sled behind 20 of the strongest sled dogs. Let me put it this way: you won't suck anymore at moving your cases. No, you'll be blazing your own trail, working your own way out of the cubicle and into a corner office where the spitballs can't hit you anymore. You might know me as Tony Mascolo, mediator, and you also may know I am a recovering personal injury lawyer. And I say recovering because, boy, my work as a personal injury attorney in the claims field beat me up, and I've been recovering for the last 5 years. I don't race downhill anymore, but I do lead claims adjusters and attorneys on a quick road to resolving cases easier because, let's face it, 95 to 98% of your cases are never, ever going to trial. So why would you treat 100% of your cases as if they were going to trial when you already know that 95% of those cases are going to settle prior to trial? Doesn't it make more sense to resolve the cases that are going to settle and save any extra time you create for the cases that are going to go to trial? When you embrace the power of mediation and work that into your caseload, you'll fully develop the exhilaration that comes with a quicker resolution, and you will then be able to strut your own peacock feathers, reduce your own caseload, and when you're really, really good, that next promotion, it's right around the corner. That next invitation to become a partner or shareholder, it's going to be right around the corner too. Want to resolve more cases today? What if I told you that 90 days after starting the process of laying the groundwork, by using the relational mediation method, you could be settling one case a day? That's right. Each and every day could start or end with the very, very satisfying prospect of closing another case. So maybe this sounds exaggerated or far-fetched, the stuff of dreams, but let me assure you, it is possible. When you implement the relational mediation method, you will experience this firsthand. No more will there be the dread of going into work or waking up in a sweat at night over the overwhelming caseload and things to do on each case. You can and will look forward to work each day as you know you will put another case into the closed category. Your first step to accomplish this is to head over to smarttomediate.com/book a call. That's right. Book a call with me and start building your road to resolution today. Now let's get started with episode 2 of Smart to Mediate, where we will discuss what comes next after you have used SLIPT, the acronym that we created, to categorize all your cases. Let's get going. We have been talking about relationship building and how important it is in your goal of reducing your caseload. That's always at the top of what you're doing. Everything you do from the minute you get intake to the minute it resolves is to accomplish that resolution. Earlier, we likened this quest to standing atop of the hill in the cold, wanting to pulverize your friends in a sled race down the hill. The reality is that you should really be looking at creating a long-lasting friendship and relationship with your friends. And competition can do that. But at other times, developing a relationship can depend on other things, some of which we will talk about as we go on today. I propose to you it's time to come in from the cold, to bring yourself and your friends into the warm confines of the lodge with its roaring fire, and bring the warmth of your personality to the creation of a relationship. This as good advice for your work relationships. The attorney to attorney and adjuster to attorney relationships that will help you reduce your caseload can thrive on a personal relationship. If you can get past the shield or the hurdle of impersonality and make your relationship with that adjuster or that attorney personal, you will have gone a long way towards resolving your case, reducing your caseload, and making happier clients. Let me share with you a few important things that will help this relationship flourish into a major component of your settlement plans. It is 3 steps, only 3 steps, and they can be easy if you take the approach that you are going to do it every time, on every case, with every adjuster, with every attorney. Consistency and persistence pays off in so many things, and it also pays off in personal injury claims litigation. Here are the 3 steps that I believe you should use at the beginning of your relationship, or really to build your relationship with the adjuster. Step 1, well, that's called categorizing your caseload. And if you have listened to my previous episode 1, you will know how to easily categorize your entire caseload in a very short amount of time. And if you did not listen to episode 1 already, you can always go back after you listen to this episode and get the full skinning on how to categorize your cases, 4 categories, so that you can easily identify a case, not by its name. Nobody cares about the Smith case, but everyone will care about a case if it's categorized by its characteristics, specifically its settlement characteristics. It's a much more important and meaningful way to identify your case. And in episode 1, we taught you how to do that. So now let's go to step 2. Step 2 of this process is to pick 5 of your cases to work on. Start with 5 initially. You can always increase the amount that you work on as you get more familiar with this process. So let's say you pick 5 cases to work on, and they are going to be your focus today until you finish working on them. And that could mean today, it may mean you finish tomorrow, and it may mean you finish the next day. But you won't go on to your next 5 cases until you have finished the process on these 5 cases that you pick. Once you focus on them and pick those cases, the mere fact of picking them will put them on the fast track to resolution. These 5 cases that you pick are part of the 95 to 98% of the cases that were going to settle prior to trial. You just put them on the fast track to closure. And all you did was pick them off that caseload snowbank, the one over to the side of the hill, and you identified them. And all you need to do now is identify the parties. Who is the adjuster? Who is the attorney? Who do you need to deal with to get this case resolved? Now, once step 2 is completed, your sled is ready to hit the ground, race down the hill, and pulverize your competition. But remember that I told you that there is a better way than to just race down that hill and pulverize everyone? You want to create a relationship built on trust, not a relationship built on competition. And that takes us to step number 3. Step number 3 is what I call the create your relationship building list. Now, there are a few ways to do this, and some may be easier for you because of your particular personality. I am here to tell you not to shy away from doing what I tell you here is the number 1 way to resolve your cases. The number 1 way to build the relationship that we talk about in step 3. When you are in this business of personal injury claims and litigation, you are in the position being the creator of your own persona. Remember, don't let the business create your persona. You create your image and likeness for cases. You create how you want to present yourself to the adjuster or attorney so that you can do the best job you can in reducing your caseload and representing your clients. So now you may say, hey, this is not the way I do things in my, other life. I'm shy. I'm withdrawn. I'm more of a wallflower. But I'm here to tell you, you need to do this in your now work life. You need to create the persona. And why? Why? Because you want to reduce your caseload. You ever hear of the song, I Gotta Be Me? I Gotta Be Me. Well, that is a good start. But the me you gotta be is the created me that you intentionally created to reduce caseloads. The me whose actions foster exponential case resolution. Let's do a quick recap. Step 1, categorize the cases according to the SLIPPed acronym from episode 1. Step 2, identify 5 prime resolution cases that you want to put on that smooth road, that smooth ice pad down the hill to resolution. And now I'm going to share with you the third thing that you can do to build relationships so that you can reduce your caseload. Step 3 is the relational mediation method, or building your relationship resolution list. Understand there are literally dozens, if not hundreds, of approaches that you can take here, and they're as different as all the different personalities of people involved in this business. And those approaches can range from snail mail to email to text messages to the Goodyear blimp with your case name on it. Okay. All of those will send a message to the adjuster or the attorney. But please, promise me, you'll never, ever try the Goodyear blimp. I put it in here for illustrative purposes only. The number one way that you can send your message that signals this case is one that should be settled, is to give it horns, bells, lights, and whistles for its trip down that icy hill. You want it to stick out. Now, since bells, horns, lights, and whistles will create too much noise in the office, you need to come up with something that is just as effective, but mostly quiet. And that would be, drum roll please, a 5x7 index card. What? Wait a minute, wait. Am I saying that a 5x7 index card is the secret sauce? The step number 3, magic to resolve your case? Yeah, yes. That's what I'm saying. It's not a mistake. A 5x7 piece of paper that is louder than a horn, a bell, or a whistle, and brighter than LED lights as you stream down that hill. Now that gets the attention of the attorney or the adjuster. Why? I'll tell you why. Because no one else is doing it. You can be an army of one. Now, I thought you might be a little skeptical about how can a little index card actually brighten your day and get attention. I get it. I was skeptical too. And I only stumbled upon this by mistake, by being overworked, and by trying a different way to save time from the mundane, repetitive work that is often associated with claims. But when I did it, it worked. And I'd like to prove to you that it can work. I have 10 note cards sitting on my desk right now that I had printed when I was practicing personal injury law. Out of those 10 note cards, one of them might just have your name on it. All you need to do is send me an email at amascolo@smart2mediate.com. It's amascolo@smart2mediate.com. If you're one of the first 10 people to send me an email saying, Tony, send me a card, I'll send you a card. Okay? Now, just make sure you send me your snail mail address in that email, because this is an old school way to reach people. It's an old school approach with a new school twist. What do I mean by that? Well, in the old world, this might be like using a slide rule to do calculus. That's real old school. That's even before calculators were used. I remember those days. If you send me your address I promise you, I will send you an index card that will stand out and show you how a little piece of paper can change and brighten your day. And then remember me, remember Tony Mascolo, because I took the time to send you that card. Relax, relax, all you skeptics. You're not going to forego other more traditional methods of contact. They will come. You'll do them. We know you've got all the templates and forms and that you send them in emails. And while I'm going to recommend to you over and over again on this podcast that you always put the claim number in the subject line of every email, just like you do at the top of a snail mail letter, you will get to use all your methods during the course of the case. Before you send that first email or snail mail letter, do something radically different. This is the smart step number 3. You take the card. You write the note to the claims adjuster or the attorney. You let them know that you're working on the case. And in the next several days, they are going to receive an email with the prominently displayed claim number. That's so important, so that together you can begin the work of resolution of this case. I promise you that by doing that, your case will now stand out when you do send that email. Listen, we all know how many hundreds of emails do you get in a day? It's very difficult for one email to stand out. But when you send a note, and maybe you stick a virtual piece of chocolate in there, because that would definitely work on me. Whatever you decide, though, you will be beginning to build that relationship by identifying yourself in a unique and personal way, a way that makes you stand out. And by proxy, your case will benefit and stand out amongst all the other claims. The personal note, the innocuous little index card, creates a picture in the mind of the recipient. Your note is likely to go to the top of the pile, and when your email does come in, it's likely to go to the top of the email list to get a response. Your little note will stick in the mind of the attorney or adjuster, a mental note of something good. Now, I told you there's 3 steps, but I'm going to give you a little bonus tip here. After that first contact, you can recreate the index card feeling of being special with just a handwritten quick note at the top of a snail mail letter that you sign just before scanning and sending off to the adjuster. I always kept a green pen on my desk to just say, right up in the right-hand corner of my snail mail typewritten letter responding to something, I made my own personal sticky note. I've always put something positive in it, like, after reviewing this, give me a call and let's see if we can't resolve this case. Tony. I always use the more personal Tony as opposed to my more formal name, Anthony. You'll find things like that you can do. Maybe it's just using your initials, TM for me. After all, I'm trying to impress upon these people that they are my colleagues. And together, by working together, we are going to be more productive for each other. I maintain that following these steps, you will be on your way to more resolutions quicker and make happier clients, supervisors, bosses, and a happier and healthier you. And then, of course, you're going to continue this process over the next weeks and months until you have touched each and every one of your cases and put your personality into each one. Now, some of those cases will resolve just by the process that we've discussed, the 3-step process. So to recap, here are the 3 steps that I recommend highly you implement immediately so you can reduce your caseload stat and create space for you to have a life outside of the office. Step 1 is to categorize your caseload. Step 2, pick 5 of your cases to work on. Step number 3, implement the magic of relationship building with the old-fashioned index card. It really is your secret sauce that grabs attention and moves cases along faster. If you want to reduce your caseload faster with expert mediation, I can show you how. Getting to mediation is an art all by itself. We will talk more about this going forward in other episodes, but if we didn't set the stage on how to get your cases looked at, we never would be successful in setting up the mediation part of this business. If you would like to discuss how to make your caseload lighter, book a free consultation with me at www.smarttomediate.com/book a call. I have lots of ways to take that windy road and straighten it out as a quicker path to resolution. It's all up to you. Thank you.